Aloha, friends and neighbors. Welcome to show 965. 965 weeks I've served you. Yeah. My pleasure. We're going to do the first week in June 2015. A very interesting week for you on the sky mirror, first of all. And then we're going to get into I got some interesting predictions for you. And some interesting information, hopefully that will make your life more interesting and more enjoyable. So let's get to the sky mirror right away. Okay, I got a chart all drawn up for you. I have to admit here that when I drew this, I wasn't aware of the Neptune station coming up. So I didn't draw it big like usual, so I'm going to circle it here for you and tell you there's some Neptune action up ahead and remind myself. So here's our chart. We still have the Uranus-Pluto square, but everything else settled down a little bit. We still also have the Jupiter-Uranus trine. Oh boy! And here's the Sun coming up to set it off, and Mars, and so this is an enlightenment trine. I got a piece of enlightenment I want to share with you after the sky mirror of my own. At any rate, it kind of alternates, because see this dotted red line here? Well, that's a 150-degree angle. They have different names in technical astrology, inconjuncts, and things like that. But it's a seesaw. So when one's up, the other's down. When Pluto's up, Jupiter's down. Pluto's down. Now, that means that your enlightenment sextile here, flashes of insight that could change you forever, have to alternate with your concerns for Pluto. What's Pluto? Well, Pluto is guns, for one thing, and policemen. Yes, one reason is that you had a last full moon. Remember, every full moon that happens changes the color and the tone of the month following. The last full moon was at 13 Scorpio, and it gave power to Pluto. So we're digging into these Pluto things, the policemen and all of that, and the guns. And I got a funny story to tell you about guns, but let's get to the sky mirror first. Saturn is trining Venus. Venus actually coming up to trine Saturn settles down your love life a little bit. Let's check it out day by day. As we run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern, it gives us the mood of the times. It's best to think of these just like people, But the moon is their inner consciousness, the non-verbal one that picks up pictures and emotions and gives you your mood. And if you're on the Thursday show on the 28th of May here, it gets a little panicky at night. Here's the old Pluto-Uranus square. Now we're giving power to Pluto, so it's not got the edge that it had in that last month when we had that awful full moon hitting that square. Right now, the full moon is giving accent to Pluto, and it's about to change on you. Yes, because you got another full moon coming up on Tuesday at 6:20 a.m. This one's at 12 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, 12 degrees of Sagittarius is right up here, and you can see already it's kind of a danger zone. And this full moon takes away from Pluto, and we say, the heck with it. Let's give up our guns and our power and our war on terror and all that stuff. It trines Jupiter. Yes, but it squares Neptune. And the vibes are going to change a lot. Anyway, for now, you're not going to be happy with the guns and the police and the plutonium and all of that here on the Thursday night show. And when the moon opposes Uranus here, which is until midnight, 2 a.m. Friday morning, there's this sense of sudden aloneness. And, is the power grid safe? I don't know. It's a little shaky. So we could get, this is also the tornado and earthquake zone here. But no matter. Friday morning, here's a square to Venus. This is actually more like noontime. But, you know, there's no sweets. You won't get no rest. You might as well get up and go to work. Yep. Or earlier the better. And, you know, take it easy on lunch, because you won't be able to get satisfied, huh? Now, the moon leaves Libra here about 11 o'clock at night or so on Friday, and the vibes change a lot. Once the moon goes into Scorpio on Saturday, it mellows out, it's more stable. And looky here, here's Saturday night. There's a nice trine to Neptune. Neptune in his good side is the priest, artist, doctor, musician, and here's color and art, music, and here's Jesus, you know, telling you how to raise your level of getting in the other guy's shoes and being compassionate, huh? Using your higher heart. That's Neptune. Really good side to Neptune. We can talk about the other sides too, because it rules Pisces, Neptune does. And there's two little fish there. One of them is Jesus. The other one is a bit of a pickpocket or a deceiver. So here's a good side anyway, Saturday. Enjoy music and art, and sit under a tree and commune with, read Jesus Saturday night. Pluto comes in and with a nice sextile here early Sunday morning. It's, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning almost, but there's some discovery. Sunday morning at breakfast, here's a square to Jupiter. There's a tendency to overdo it. The moon's in Scorpio, so, you know, overdoing it in a fixed sign, not too good. You won't stop. So I wouldn't go for a big breakfast on Sunday. Nope. The pleasure is here with the Venus trine Sunday night. It's late. It's a you know, it's a cozy time. There's some pleasure. There's some sweets. There's some goodies. Take it while you can get it. Monday morning, the moon's still in Scorpio, and not so bad. You're going to have a sweet morning from the Venus trine, but you know, when it shifts into Sagittarius here, everything changes suddenly. But the suddenness has a cold, dank feeling to it, because the moon's going to go by Saturn. And Saturn dries things out, makes us scared. Saturn is the guy that crushes people. Saturn is the cold, it's the dryness, it's the grim reaper. And here's a guy that helped you get that big train accident over in, where was it, Baltimore. I'll show you that later. But so this is a scary time, Monday morning. Your news may not be good. It might be depressing. Sometimes Saturn freezes things. Sometimes you'll get balls of hail, you know, around tornado times when they go up and down and up and down. Every time they go up into the clouds, it gets another layer of ice. Time it comes down, it's a golf ball. So Saturn freezes things too. Strange to say, the 1st of June, huh? Anyway, it's cold Monday morning, philosophically. Take it easy. It doesn't get too much better late Monday night. Here you are about midnight, and we have an opposition to Mercury. There's communication problems. And here Tuesday morning, we got a square to Neptune. We're confused. Do they mean right or left? Where's the liquids? Where's the fuels? Where's the gas? Would somebody turn the wrong valve? Look out, because here in the middle of Tuesday is an opposition to Mars. Now, you know, I spent a lot of my life trying to make you safer on Oahu from flammable liquids and gases and chemicals. And this is the setup, because Mars is a source of ignition. We're on the full moon here. There could be fires. There could be liquid spills. And this isn't necessarily just your old sewage spill, which to me is kind of a joke, because sewage is quite sterile. But it comes from the old days when it carried waterborne disease, and our health departments are still operating in the old day mode. But to me, this is, you know, this with Neptune here, the hydrocarbons, and the source of ignition here. This could be a big fire. This can be a lot of smoke. In the industry, back with the fire departments, and I was a big part of it in my day, going to the fire, you could see the black smoke rising off the oil fire or the gasoline fire or something. And then as soon as the white smoke happened, you knew the fire department had put the first water on the fire. You'd take the time. White smoke scene. It took the fire department You know, 4 minutes to get there and get water on it. Well, you can't put water on flammable liquids. You need Hickam Air Force Base and the airports, the foam machines that wait to put out fires on airplanes. So flammable liquids fires could be a problem for the first half of June, frankly. You'll find out Tuesday morning. If you smell some fumes, find out what it is and watch for that source of ignition. All it takes is a little bit of a flame. Tuesday evening, we've got the Enlightenment thing kicks in. Yeah, here's a trine to Jupiter. This is before dinner. And here's a trine to Uranus after dinner. And so here, what a day, huh? Wow. Everybody angry and confused and lost the first part of Tuesday. And in the evening, we turned on the TV and there was wisdom or some life-changing idea. Ideas are Uranus. I'll tell you about mine later. The idea vibes continue through Wednesday until the middle of the day. And then the moon shifts into Capricorn. The vibes change. It gets a little more serious and you get a chance to plan more. And here on Thursday morning, there's a nice sextile to Neptune. It's time to get your liquids straight. Is that going to flood? We'll fix it. Is that gas I smell? Is that exhaust I smell? It could be exhaust. Pluto is carbon monoxide and it's killing people on our roads. You smell a little exhaust, you know, your sense of smell only lasts for like 30 seconds and then the brain zones out that circuitry and gets ready to smell a new smell. Your nose is a defense mechanism. I used to teach the guys at the refinery, when you smell that propane, you smell that odor, you smell anything like that, go after it right now, because in a little bit you won't smell it. So investigate, or you could be sorry. And investigations are happening here on Thursday afternoon and evening. And it leads you into a sense of aloneness. Here's the Pluto-Uranus square. It's gone back to Thursday nights now. And, gosh, gets shaky, gets panicky. When the moon goes by Pluto, in the middle of Thursday, feels a little panicky, huh? A lot different than this nice blue area here. So if you get some sleep Thursday night and not worry about the electricity, Friday morning isn't so bad. And Friday night, there's a nice sextile, it's a sextile to Saturn. You get kind of organized. It's a good time to do the budget, but there's an opposition to Venus. There's no sweets here Friday night. This Friday is Venus's day, you know, Vendrady. This is the day of Venus. You're supposed to take your date out for some love. No love here. Get some business done Friday night, because Venus is not happy with the whole thing, and she's going to sit this one out. Saturday morning, moon's in Aquarius, and moon went into Aquarius about dinner time on Friday the 5th, and hit that sobering point, planning with the sextile to Saturn, and this I'm too busy for love Friday night. And in the morning of Saturday, there's a nice trine to Mercury. You can talk things out, communicate, make a plan. Saturday night, here's a nice trine to the Sun. We're getting things done. Yeah. Sunday morning, that's Saturday night, that's about midnight, opposition to Jupiter. You might not like thunder and rain here, or just tendency to overdo it. But Sunday morning, spring into action. Here's a nice trine to Mars. Yeah, a sextile to Uranus. The brothers are out. Everybody's being a hero. You know, this is a good, get up, get something done. Be with people Sunday morning. It's a nice morning. And you won't feel the cold and the restrictions until late Sunday. You know, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Here's a square to Saturn. And then up ahead, look at here. Here's Neptune. Comes up Monday the 8th. More talk about that shortly. My amateurish attempt at a cartoon about guns. Some background. In the 70s when I was with OSHA, we just started OSHA in Honolulu. The Honolulu Police Department, Policemen's Union, SHOPO, made a complaint to OSHA about the safety of their guns and holsters, and they assigned me to this task, and I started to study it. And I talked with them a little bit, and then somebody took the job away. I guess it was too political, and my boss at the time said, no, you can't do this, so I didn't get to finish it. But I know what the complaint was, and the complaint was that the holsters the policemen, were using, it was too easy to grab the gun out of their holster. For other people to grab their gun and shoot them is the major fear these officers had. I just saw a black kid at the top of the stairs shot by a white cop in the middle of the stairs. 7 shots, bang, 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 bang. He's in a fear and a panic. Why was he so scared? He was scared of his own gun. He's scared of his own gun. We're giving these people, these poor policemen, we're giving them only the total, kill them all, that's it, there's nothing else. Well, they got the tasers now. They had a club for years. And usually the people who scare them the most are the homeless people, the blacks, the kids, the hippies, the drug smuggler. All these policemen have been told they're in danger. And so they got to shoot first and ask questions later. No, the threat is in his own gun. If you take his gun away and give him tasers, give him clubs, let the shotgun be in the car, take the short gun away, he doesn't have to carry it. The policeman won't have to fear somebody's going to get his gun and kill him. No, they'll take the fear out of the equation. Sounds silly? No, they don't want to wear those pistols. Believe me, you get down to the average policeman, he'll say, yeah, here, take my pistol. I don't want it. Somebody's going to grab it and kill me with it. A lot of it's in the training. You spend all that time teaching these guys, grab the gun, shoot. That's why they empty the gun. They're so scared. Let's get on to another thing in the news. The dispensaries in Hawaii, oh boy. And they're really messing with this stuff. I have one idea. Sell pot in the liquor stores. Here's the thing. Both alcohol and tobacco can kill you. Yeah, if you drink a quart of vodka, you'll die. I'm serious. You give a baby a cigarette and the nicotine will kill the baby. Those of you addicted to tobacco, your livers, they know how to metabolize it, but others that don't, nicotine's class A poison, just like strychnine. So you got these two substances that can kill. Yeah? Nobody's ever died from pot. There's no lethal amount. In toxicology, we call them LD50s. They measure, they give rats a bunch of this stuff, and when half the rats die, they figure out the weight of toxin per weight of rat. Lethal dose, 50% of the animals. That's your first lesson in toxicology. There is no lethal amount. Pot's safe. Yeah. Now, you can concentrate it, get into trouble, put you to sleep, maybe, slowly. But okay, so now here's the thing. We have good methods of selling alcohol and tobacco. They're controlled, they're licensed, they're taxed, they're safe. There's people watching over them. They got to unlock the door now to sell you tobacco. It's fun. When I was a kid, they used to sell them in machines. Anyway, you guys that are messing with these dispensers, we don't need a doctor to tell us we can buy beer or buy aspirin. We don't need a doctor to prescribe pot. Pot is so much safer than these other things in our society. Put the pot in liquor stores and don't try to make money with it. Just let the market decide. Let capitalism work. Throw the politicians out there doing all this stuff. Playing with money and playing with marijuana. Eek! All these monies from tobacco companies aren't going to those they injured. They're going to politicians instead. Too bad. All right, before I forget, this is the May 11th, 3/4 moon. I've been focusing a lot on this area, but, I thought I'd better show you, because it isn't just weather we're dealing with. What you don't want is Saturn on the descendant. Here is the Grim Reaper himself, and on the descendant, he's opposing the rising sign. And you see where this goes? And there were those trains all piled up, crushing people. A day after this signal. So there's a lot of power in this matter of, Kubla Khan said, I have 5,000 astrologers checking these lunations and reporting to me, and you can see why he did. And there it was in Baltimore. Anyway, a good emperor would, 5,000 astrologers, boy, he'd know what was going on in his empire, huh? I'm just one man, so don't expect me to catch them all. But I thought I'd bring this one to your attention. Oh, you hypocrites, Jesus said. Some folks called me up and said, you're against TMT? Yes. And the same people that are supporting this crazy project, which doesn't give us anything back, are the same ones that gave us that other amazing project, the super ferry. Oh yeah. And these guys, they say the loss of the super ferry, shows us that this state and the politicians don't have their way. Here's Bank of Hawaii guy. Oh, he says, if you got to do something about your economy, my goodness. He says, astronomy is filling a role on the Big Island, and which doesn't have much else to rely on except agriculture and tourism. Folks, that's it on the Big Island, okay? You got to realize that here our mayor tried to give us an incinerator in the middle of Hilo, and without thought for the safety and health of the people there. And the stupid ferry, they don't care. DOD project again. TMT, same old thing. Certainly I'm against it. It isn't just because they're astronomers, and I don't like astronomers much. They have taken all the glory from astrologers. They started with guys like Kepler. They tried to say, Kepler was an astronomer and didn't like astrology. No, Kepler was an astrologer. And all he said was there was a lot of baggage, a lot of old baggage from 2,000 years. But he says, don't be angry with me as a defender of astrology and word in action. At the same time, I tried to plant the opinion in the masses. I'm not an astrological buffoon. There were buffoons that knew a little astrology in Kepler's time and fooled the people. So he wasn't against astrology. He was an astrologer, huh? Yeah. To me, PhDs, huh? Here you have a very questionable institution, our present day so-called colleges and universities, tell these folks they're special. You got a PhD, and you got the right to go, and then we're supposed to hand them all this money to go play. Sorry, especially when they're so delusional they won't even use the word astrology. No, that's like the N-word. Astronomers are some of the biggest phonies in all of science. Oh, they're physicists. Yeah, they're Sheldon on, on Big Bang and stuff. Well, to me, they're phonies. And PhD is just a license to be a phony and put something on your wall that says I'm special and I get special privilege. And I don't give that to astronomers. Nope, I don't. There appears to be something in this country where guys like this can get away with murder because, we have lots of PhDs. At any rate, now you know that the Roundup is a poison. And but how did they get away with this? Politicians, the people in the FDA, give them a license, like the university gives them a license and says, you 007, go kill. Monsanto gives them a license, the government. Our government is licensing these guys, and then they stand underneath them and say, you can't stop us. We're going to round up your world. My God, how could this happen? How could, our mayor try to give us an incinerator in the middle of Hilo? Something's wrong with the system, huh? Something is wrong with the system. Doggone it. Too much to tell you, not enough time. Okay, let's go back to this. Here's Neptune. It's slowing down and stopping. Here it stations. Consciousness goes to Neptune. Back here 20 days up ahead. What's Neptune? Liquids. Flooding. Okay, here's a full moon you're about to have on the 2nd. It's in Sagittarius at 11 degrees, squares it. This is more irritating than normal. You're going to be stuck with it a little bit for a whole month. Watch your liquids. Okay, here's the full moon chart on June 2nd. Here's the Neptune line here. This is Neptune on the descendant, the place you do not want to see him. Eek, a Neptune. Where's it going? It's running right through that troubled area. There's the line right there. Floods, ocean things, chemical spills, flammable liquid and gas problems. Whoa. Actually, when I look at it here in Hawaii, there it is right at the top of the chart. The public area, you know, a public Neptune event. The ocean, the whales, you know, wow, I went to Kauai. Kauai gets set further away at 4 degrees, so I went over to Hilo side, and there it's quite exact. So we could say is maybe liquid problems in Hilo. This could be flooding. This could be stuff in the ocean. But it's focused more in Hilo in Hawaii than it is in other areas. El Nino is coming. El Nino, look out, hurricanes, the weather guys are saying. So I went through all the charts for Hawaii, and I came to this one finally, the full moon on Christmas Day. And there's Uranus on the 7th house. There's a storm, and Pluto's at the bottom, some possible destructions on the home front. So I'm not too worried about the hurricane season till we get to the holidays, and then I'm a little worried about it. And so you got some time to fix things up before the storm hits. Yep, I lost my prejudice. And here's the chart. Uranus right at the top. You know, look, we should apologize to the Japanese. We firebombed all their cities, killed everybody, women, children, saved Hiroshima and Nagasaki for the bomb so Truman could impress the Russians. We should pay them for damages. It's like in Germany, it was Dresden, and the British and the Americans firebombed the German cities, killed all the civilians. Oh, all's fair in love and war, huh? No. We have an evil war-making government in the United States. Here's the thing. No, it's not just that. What I learned is it's a generation. Jesus said, "Oh, ye hypocrites, an evil generation wants a sign. I won't give it to him." It's a generation. I call them Bing Hope. They call themselves the greatest. I call them World War II generation. Boo!